Good morning, everyone. I called the Bytown Economic Development Committee meeting to order on Thursday, November 6th. And any public comments? Seeing none, are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move to approval of the minutes from September 4th meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 4th meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And all those in favor, please signify by saying how aye somehow. Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Are there any? Okay, Laura's abstaining.
I'll abstain because I wasn't there as well.
Okay. Housing committee update. There really is no housing committee update as we are getting really poor turnout at our meetings, even though we have send out reminders and things like that. So I think that we need to do a regroup on the housing committee and we'll go from there. Does anybody else have anything to report on housing locally? Okay. Now we're going to move into the marketing committee update. We're going to welcome Tim Dolan to do our presentation for the campaign results from the 2025 season and a proposed campaign that we would be going to the select board for in a few weeks. So take it away, Tim.
All right, thanks for having me. So like Gretchen said, we'll start with a quick update on what we accomplished this year and then talk about, budgeting and plans for next year. So starting with Google Ads, this has always been a really productive way for us to get those low funnel contacts with people. So anybody that's searching through Google for things in Vermont, you can see the top searches here. A lot of them are around foliage, but tourism, things to do in southern Vermont, that all those people searching Google, we can drive them to our website and try to get them to visit us through that. So, foliage is definitely the best performer, 6-week period accounted for almost a quarter of our total clicks overall for the year. And new this year, we did modify our strategy a little bit in May. You'll see the gold is a tracker that tracks people that stayed on the site for more than 30 seconds. So people that were really engaged. And we optimized, our delivery for that over 30-second crowd. And so you can see, that started kind of here in the beginning of May. And from that time on, we had almost 25,000 of our people that clicked into the site stayed for more than 30 seconds, which was about 85% during that period. So a lot of people staying on the site, searching around. So definitely good traffic that we were able to drive through Google. Then our media campaign, which is our bread and butter, this year, the big question mark leading into it back in the spring was TikTok. There was a lot of talk about bans. It had been postponed multiple times. Then it was starting to get looped in with the tariff talks starting on April 1st. And there was just a lot of uncertainty around TikTok, which was really successful for us in the past. But knowing that kind of that rug could get pulled out from us at any moment, we decided that we would stay away from TikTok for this year and went back to programmatic display. So we knew from past experience that would result in better impressions, but a lower click-through rate. So just something to keep in mind as we look at the results here. But Meta was still, about where we almost put 80% of our budget, 78 point something, and Pragmatic made up, the other 22%. So here are just some examples of the ads that we ran, sticking with that Where Vermonting Begins that we started last summer. That was so successful. So continuing on with that. And we did go to a different, lockup bar with the green theme this year. That's been successful with our banners in town, and just thought it gave a good summer vibe to our advertising. And then fall, switching over to, the fall palette of the logo and using that in the lockup. Also did, Reels, which is super successful for us. So summer and fall versions. Again, these are just examples, but there was probably 8 different versions of videos out there throughout the summer and another 2 versions for the fall. So overall, we did about 25 million impressions this year, which is slightly above last year. Again, we knew display would bring us more impressions, less clicks. So that impression number is up, clicks slightly down. But when you look at Meta itself, we were at a 0.23% click-through rate, which is pretty close to in line from last year. So that social performance was very close. And we were actually really efficient with the money that we spent in Meta this year. Where last year's entire campaign was $1.58, Meta was $1.17. So, we know that these numbers, the click-through and the efficiency on display, weren't going to be as strong as TikTok, but again, it drove more impressions for us. And TikTok is now close to a sale, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that for next year and evaluating whether we stick with display or go back to TikTok. But that's how we did for this year. So overall, really strong results again. One of the new things we did this year was we were able to track people who saw an ad within 7 days and then entered the Valley. We've always been looking for those KPIs, those key performance indicators, to see, are those people that are seeing our ads, clicking our website, are they actually getting here? And so this was a kind of a cool way for us to look at that. So, it was anybody that saw a Meta ad within 7 days and then entered into a geo-fenced area around the southern Vermont Deerfield Valley. Once they entered in, then it counted as a conversion for us. So there was 1,099 people that were tracked, so saw that ad within 7 days, got up here. And we were able to use some AirDNA data that, that 0 to 7 day booking period was about 26% of our visits. So when we back that number out to figure out, what would the 100% be, it was about 4,220 people that we believe, were impacted by an ad and came into the Valley as a result of it. So we then kind of took that data and made some calculations about what potential impact, those visitors might be having on us. So median, the green, is kind of where we think we most likely laid. I won't go too far into depth about all the numbers, but there is an appendix at the end that kind of explains our calculations, and Shannon will share that with the minutes if you want to take a look more in depth. But median is kind of where we think we'll fall. Low is if we're way off, but this would kind of be the very bottom end of what, that impact might be. So for the median total number of visitors, we expect to be around 14,000 people. Room nights just under 50,000, and revenue generated about $15 million. On the low end, just under 11,000 visitors, 37,000 room nights, and just over $9 million that, we would have generated for our businesses. So kind of a nice way to kind of look at, what we're doing and into the real live look, and, is it making an impact here? So it's really kind of cool to be able to track that this year. Other notable projects, we haven't done a fall photo shoot in a few years, so we did an RFP put that out and hired a company, Three Peaks from Jeffersonville. We had about 15 different submissions, so they were the best of the best, and did a 14-hour day shoot back in very early October. Went up to Mount Snow for a sunrise shoot, then over to Hoot Toot and Whistle and Harriman's for midday, and then finished out the day at the White House. So this will give us fall assets now that we can use for the next 3 years. So, huge thanks to Mount Snow for getting us access up to the summit up there, as well as White House Inn for taking care of us over there. So you can see we got some great stuff from the top of Mount Snow, and then over Harriman's, Hoot Toot and Whistle, some hiking, and then just an absolutely gorgeous sunset over at White House. Did some dining over there and kids playing and that type of stuff. So I'm just finishing up that project now. Actually just got these photos and popped them in yesterday. But really overall successful fall photo shoot. Also had our first paid influencer visit over the fall. So she has about 90,000 subscribers on her Instagram channel. So she was able to do 4 different posts and 3 stories for us in a 2-day visit that she did here. So received over 85,000 views. And the biggest thing with her is her engagement rates, so there was over 2,000 likes and 170 comments across those posts, with 377 people sharing it. So really good, strong numbers of people getting to see, her visit here during the fall time. And then our organic social, has definitely been gaining more and more traction. We're up 18% in our followers this year, and we've broken our record for the most views multiple times. So our summer intern did a Wilmington post in July, early August, that had over 20,000 views, which is a record at the time. La Casita and a similar Dover one had just under 20,000. And then we did a soup stroll one, kind of recapping that event, which got over 30,000 and set a new record. And then this one, I think, was the coolest. We did a then and now of Harriman, and where that, old railroad trestle went across the lake. And that's now over, I just looked this morning, over 76,000 views. So definitely improving as we go along. And I think, the great thing about that is it's stick season and we're still getting a lot of engagement, through that post. So definitely strong engagement there, and continuing to grow those channels, and hopefully we can continue that momentum. Also did an email sign-up contest this year, so pop-up that came up on the site for those people in Google Ads or our campaign. After 10 seconds, this popped up, and they were able to enter to win a stay in Southern Vermont, which got us just over, about 445 new subscribers that we'll be able to email from here on. And then really exciting Grow Grant program through the state. Our 2-year cycle for 24-25 ends next month, and they did reopen it for the years of 26-27, and we were awarded again. We got $51,610 this time to help continue that work of trying to get new people to move here, as well as, the retention piece. So that's a $13,000 increase actually over our 24 and 25 cycle. So we'll have even more money to run advertising, do more of the mixers. The content creators paid partly by that, as well as do a 2027 summer photo shoot. So you can see over here some of the advertising that's running right now about trying to get people to think about coming and moving up into the valley. So that's everything we accomplished this year. So for next year, our budget proposal, we've got an increase in the marketing director position. It would be at the same rate as what was paid for 2025, but increasing the workload as we come up with more and more projects, just need more hours to be able to complete that work. Also increasing the travel stipend for our content creator, just as she drives around the valley, going to take content for all these different places, just having some gas money to be able to help her. And then the content creator position's actually down a little bit. And we do pay 25% of that. 25% comes from the chamber, and 50% is from that grow program now that we've been renewed for the next 2 years. Professional fees going up a little bit in our campaign creative because we want to add in a phase for a test of a retiree segment. I think we've been really successful with our young adults and families, but looking to add in that retired segment. Kind of the thinking behind that is they have a little more flexibility in schedule, and it might help fill some of the softer midweek time periods during the summer and fall. Also want to do a little website redevelopment. The back end of our website is great, but it is now 4 years old. So we kind of just want to do a refresh, kind of get that looking new and fresh again, and kind of emphasize the accessibility and load times, making sure people that are clicking on it from our ads, that it loads nice and quick so we don't lose them to slow loads. No major photo shoot for next year, so that number goes way down. And then you'll see at the end, our budget overall is pretty close to in line to what we did this year, so the chamber admin cost stays the same. Digital advertising, adding a little bit in for the media buy so that we can hit that retiree audience. Probably do a 2-month kind of trial for this year and see where that leads. Influencers had really great content from that one that we did bring in, but we'd love to, try to attract people with larger audiences and an even greater reach. So increasing that next year. Groups and weddings, just I'm sitting down with some of our stakeholders, and we'll be developing, a plan for this. But the idea is just to kind of supplement what they're all doing individually and just help try to bring in more groups and/or weddings, depending on what makes the most sense. And SEO, just increasing that because, as we saw earlier, that's always really successful. IT, biggest things are the geofencing, even though that was really cool to be able to kind of look at those key performance indicators and see how many people were getting here. It was really expensive. We budgeted 12.5 last year and actually had to find some savings from other areas and increase that it ended up costing us about 15,000. So we want to do that probably every few years just to kind of save money and keep the money going into the actual advertising instead of just the tracking. But it is a good gut check for us to do every few years just to make sure that it is still being successful. And then Banwango is one that we had talked about for this year, but in the end voted on not implementing that. So $15,000 that we had gotten last year that we never spent, and we won't have that in next year's budget. And then last is promotional programs. We want to expand Guilford Welcome Center over into Bennington and get into that Welcome Center as well. But we were able to find a really good printing price this year. So actually we were able to increase our visibility with that next year at a much lower cost because of the printing savings. And then we also want to add a hiking guide in. It's one of the things that is most asked in the visitor center and in the area is where they can go hiking. And right now it's kind of a hodgepodge of like, well, here's this trail map and this trail map, and if you go to this website you can see that trail. And so we kind of want to just kind of consolidate that all into one piece, that'll have a digital component so people can look at a digital hiking guide and also have printed ones available in the visitor center. So overall, our budget for next year would be $245,776, just slightly up from this year. We do have a carryover of $16,250. Remember, 15,000 of that came from that Banwango that we didn't spend. So the total ask that we would be asking from the towns is $229,526, which would be $114,763 from each town. Ton of info there, and I know I flew through it. Any questions? Thoughts, comments?
Good job, Tim. Thank you. No thoughts?
Looks good.
Okay. Great. Okay, like I said, we'll be going to the select boards. I don't have that date in front of me. November, is it 19th, 18th?
I think 18th.
18th, yeah.
18.
Yeah, 18th, yep.
18th, yeah. So any support that we can get, you know, in person at those meetings is always helpful to get this passed through the 1% local option tax. So thank you. Economic development reporting. Shannon, would you like to go first?
Sure. So we got notice the other night of a payment for November. So the dates this time were August 6th to November 2nd. So it's 88-day period. In Dover, we received $101,718.74. That's about a 10% increase over the last November payment. Something I'm still working on, a very nerdy spreadsheet that breaks down all of this data as we know how challenging it is. But something that really stuck out as soon as I opened it is we get this report from the state. It splits out like meals and rooms and sales and use. And they've changed how they label the columns. So it used to say, it was the dates of the process or returns were processed, how many returns, the amount collected, and then there was 70% of tax collected because the state keeps 30%, and then minus 70% fee, which $5.96 of every return is also kept by the state. And now it no longer says that. It just says town portion of tax and town portion of fee, which I thought was really interesting, that they are making it even more confusing as to how much money actually makes it back to the towns. And for all of the discussions we've had in this committee about it, I wasn't super surprised, but I did find it really interesting. And so I'm still working on looking back at all of that data and really for us being able to compare a day to day and a true quarter to quarter is a challenge. But so that's brand new this year or this quarter is now it's the town portion of tax and the town portion of fee. And it no longer says 70% anywhere. So you have to figure that out yourself to see how it's calculating. But that's what happened in Dover.
Can you allow me to share?
Yep. You should be good.
Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, so I calculated this out as we have, so like we usually do, you know, like the check from the previous year in November because we are so seasonal. So we go from last year's November, which had 91 days in it, to this year that only had 89 days in the reporting period. But an increase overall with 2 less days. Room and meals was down by 1.7%, although more claims were processed by 3. And then sales and use were up 3.47%. And I think we're overall up 1.86%. I did do some research from last November to this November, the increase in consumer pricing, and that's about 6 to 7%. So we're really not keeping up with the inflation piece of it. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Go for it, Laura.
I'm taking my BDCC hat off. I'm putting my
Okay.
legislative hat on. And I would appreciate Shannon or Bytown, if you could send me an email about the change in the columns and reporting. And that seems problematic to me.
I thought it was an interesting choice. But yes,
Mhm.
I can send you the last two and just some notes about it so you can see that.
Yeah, and I can send you ours.
And I am sorry to say that I'm not sure when the increased retention amount goes into effect. Has it gone into effect?
Yeah, it looks like it did.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, not labeling what the calculation is seems like a problem. So and it seems like a problem that we should be able to fix. And so we will fix that. But it would be helpful, Shannon, if you could send an email about that. And if we could just stay in touch about that, my intention would be, I think, to just introduce some legislation asking for that column to be well labeled and the formula.
It does look like it's still 70%. At least the calculations I had just checked are still 70%. It's just like, why would you do that? But yes, happy to send that over.
Thank you.
It has been very frustrating about how they can't keep it consistent to the same amount of days. It's just bizarre to me how they calculate this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the tax department is also, my understanding is they are also really frustrated, but have you all ever been invited to a statewide meeting about this with other local option towns? And maybe we should
There was
set something like
something.
that up. Was
There
there?
was something last year, but I don't remember what organization held it. But it was a Zoom, and I definitely remember other 1% towns. I'd have to
Was it
go maybe.
VLCT?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that was
Probably, yeah.
VICT.
Is really, I think, the only time I can ever remember that kind of roundtable happening.
Okay. Great.
Okay, any other
Hey.
questions?
Gretchen, it's Charlie. I was going to add something if you don't mind.
Sure.
I would say when you're talking about the meals and rooms tax, and I'm sure a lot of the other lodging establishments would agree. But you know, this is outside of our control. But our international this year, as everyone knows, was down. I probably saw a tenth of what I've seen every calendar year of international guests. And that drove all of our lodging to domestic. So, you know, I would say the Valley and the Inn was just as busy as it's been in the past years, but our rates were lower. Which doesn't, you know, when your comment regarding the on where we stand on the you know, for us, I would be interested to see, like, can we still see the number of room nights people are reporting? Or no, we don't have that data anymore.
Hold on. Can you see it?
Yes, I'm walking my dog right now, so I'm on my
Okay.
phone.
It's a
He's
little
not taking well to being in the rain.
different. So what were you looking at?
Yes, when you were saying the meals and rooms is down, you said correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just saying from a lodging point of view, you know, like I said, is that we just feel that, you know, this year I was just as busy as last year, if not more, but it was all domestic. And unfortunately with domestic in some periods besides foliage, the rates are a little lower.
So your
That's it.
room rate was lower.
Room rates were lower. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I did have a lot of people that going off Tim's ads, which are great in the, the marketing committee, but just keep in mind, I think the Valley is just as busy. We're just having to adapt to where our business is coming from.
Mhm.
And
No-
Charlie, just to answer your question, we don't have the ins data. That dashboard never kind of took off, but I do have Airbnb data. And we're down about 8%, for the month of August, which is pretty close to your gut feeling of, a tenth of the international.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I wonder if it's, I know that dashboard never took off, but and I'd be willing to volunteer. I guess if we can ask innkeepers to pick, random months to sort of give us data without giving away their trade secrets, to just get some occupancy numbers on where it stands versus the numbers that we pull from meals and rooms tax. But I'm open to sharing it. I don't really mind. For instance, November of last year, then was much busier. This year we are tumbleweeds, but we're still seeing travelers. So, but yeah, that's it. I just wanted to add it on that point.
Yeah, and I just want to make a note that I think that our marketing campaign is also working, and that's what's keeping visitors coming to the Valley.
I agree.
There we go. All right, any other questions on that? So I don't know if anybody's heard of Rootstock Racing. It's a fairly new organization, and it's kind of like an adventure piece. They're coming to the Valley between June 22nd and June 27th. They seem to think that there's like 150 racers, and they race in teams of 2 to 4. And it's from biking, hiking, running, swimming, kayaking, all of those kind of things. They only use a map and a compass, and each team chooses their own route. And they carry satellite trackers for safety. They do have paramedics with them, so it doesn't put a undue stress onto our resources. And they sometimes most of the time use trails and through wooded areas. And they have been talking with the National Forest for our area for next year. They're talking about using the Ridge Trail. They've been working with Mount Snow actually as well. So they and then a lot of the teams or participants actually use social media and talk about the area that they are in, and they post photos and things like that. So I think that we need to explore a little bit more with them, because they would be great free influencers for us, I believe. So they said that they do, like, some communities sponsor food for them. But of course you don't really know when they're coming through, and there could be anywhere between 24 and 36 hours between them. So I think food would be a little difficult unless we figure something out. But I just wanted to keep everybody informed about this particular event coming through. So June 22nd through the 27th. Are there any questions on that piece? Okay. Our January meeting falls in that first week, and Shannon brought this up. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, it's supposed to
it's
be
actually-
January 1st.
What's that?
It's supposed to be January 1st.
Exactly. So I was wondering, if people, when you would like to move that meeting to. So we could do it, potentially the day after, but I'm sure, which is a Friday, probably not.
So I don't know about Leah, but for me, we're not gonna be able to see the daylight until the following week, so. Leah's probably in the same boat, so I don't know, can we just move it 1 week? Can we just do the 8th?
That's what I think would be great.
Okay, I will not be in attendance, so we'll need somebody here with a computer. So we'll find somebody to do that, a volunteer.
You can, if you show me how to do that, Gretchen, I can be there with a computer. I just don't know the media and the AV there in.
Okay,
So,
right.
we can touch base earlier that week. Are you all gone that whole week, the 5th through the 8th?
no, I
Okay.
leave on the 8th.
Okay, so maybe we can touch base Monday or Tuesday, 5th or 6th, then I can just go there and do a quick like walkthrough, but I have a laptop and stuff, so I can do
Sure.
that. Yeah,
That'd be great.
I'm right in town, so it doesn't, I drive by. I think I can handle that.
Okay, great. Thank you. For Wilmington, Charlie, did you want to go first or after me?
Sorry, I
Okay.
had to figure out how to unmute. You can go first.
Okay. So we have been constructing, this summer, the Hoot Toot and Whistle Trail. It kind of went a little sideways when we found some really deep erosion issues where bridges were gonna go. So we needed to have the Agency of Natural Resources come back and take a look and make some suggestions about how to, reconfigure that. Which has stalled construction a little bit, but I want everybody to know that it is open from the bridge area in Wilmington to the staging area on Fairview Avenue. The rest is closed right now. Our contractor went back to work yesterday and hoping to have that completed within a couple of weeks. So it'll be back opened before Thanksgiving, hopefully. And then, of course, the big bridge in town that's causing lots of delays and challenges. I believe that there's going to be another week that they will be constructing. And then
Gretchen.
hopefully, yeah.
Sorry, I want to interrupt you on there. No, the bridge, Bridge 31 in downtown Wilmington will remain one lane probably all the way up until Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Uh,
that's new information.
Yep, they've talked about on select board the other night. They found another hole that they missed. So they had to do some more concreting, and they've only completed half of the bridge work so far. So they're aiming to get it done right before Thanksgiving. Also, I don't mean to step over you, but also, so everyone keep in mind on December 2nd for the select board meeting, Department of Transportation is coming to provide the scope and the plan of the bridge replacement or their recommendations to the state for the bridge replacement in 2029.
Great, good information. And then other updates, I've been processing lots of revolving loan fund applications for the town, mostly new businesses, and then processing also some tax stabilization, which is great. People are making renovations to buildings, and those are all getting pretty much approved. So I think that's all I have. Charlie, did you have other updates?
Not too much. This past select board meeting was mostly just legislative. We did the town's insurance plan. Wilmington has adapted. We have changed our animal control ordinance. We now require all dogs be on leashes on the Wilmington trail system. So that was voted in last week. We did make some changes to our transfer station fee schedule. And that's primarily it. I did walk the trail earlier this week, Gretchen, and it looks fantastic. The bridges are great, the steps, everything's fantastic. So great job.
Thank you.
Also, if I can ask Laura to put her legislative hat back on, there was something that was discussed, and maybe Dover can say a little more into it as well, but the town manager, sorry, the highway manager, Marshall, passed on some information that the state of Vermont plow trucks will not be operating on the state roads after 8 p.m. during the winter. And I found that very concerning for the tourism side of it. I have many guests that have not the proper tires, and if they can't get into town, I think that's really going to impact both towns economically. Laura, do you know anything about that?
I don't, and I will also flag for rural communities that need to get to hospitals. That's also quite concerning. So I would love to hear from the towns about that concern. Again, a letter feels like a very big problem.
What about emergency services? I
Yeah,
mean, like,
Yeah, I really want to suggest that you take the tact that about residential risk here. Which I would say is substantial and real, and will also coincide with, challenges for our visitors. So,
Charlie, did they say what time they'd be resuming operations in the morning?
I believe Marshall said they started, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., but they won't be doing any plowing after 8 o'clock. Now, the town said they do not touch, and the town is not allowed to touch state highways. If it's bad, they said that, he said their plows will drive through town, but without touching the highway, without touching the highway, but they will have them down low. So if it's a lot of snow, they'll still get snow. But yes, 8 o'clock and then starting first thing in the morning. I can get the exact hours from Marshall. And yeah, I don't mind talking to Scott about forming a letter. Vicky, I'm assuming you can take care of Dover.
Charlie, Vicky's not here.
Okay, then I'm glad I'm talking to her.
But I have not heard any of that, but I can ask Travis and let the board know.
yeah, he
and-
also called Chris Taft over in our district manager and confirm.
Yeah, if you don't mind doing that, Gretchen, just, I heard it hearsay after the meeting was over, but it was concerning for residential and tourism.
may I, with my legislative hat on, Charlie, offer another suggestion, which I've made to other Wilmington residents who have expressed concern about the bridge repairs and timing. It might be really helpful for the Wilmington senators to be asked to attend the meeting that AOT will be at, and make sure that they're being kept apprised of that situation. Maybe asking them to come and visit and see it might be helpful.
Yep, that's a good point. I will share that feedback with Scott and ask them to invite them on the 2nd. And for a set of walkthrough as well.
Yeah, it seems pretty important as a major east-west commercial corridor and access road to emergency services. I'm sure that they would want to be kept really well apprised of that, and a tour would probably be most helpful for them to be very clear about that situation, and a meeting with the select board. Happy to help if I can. Of course, I don't represent Wilmington. And Representative Kara Duncan, you know, I think you all know her family has experienced a loss. So definitely would encourage being in touch with your senators. And if I can help, let me know.
Great. I will say I have read the scope. All way too many pages of it is available on the town website. And the firm that did the work on what they're recommending a rapid replacement to the state with a temporary bridge and also a temporary pedestrian bridge, and a rapid replacement would be a max of 28 days replacement. They are saying it would take, essentially, it's a 4-year calendar build because they have to remove the utilities first before they do the rapid replacement. But yes, there's a scope is on our website, Town of Wilmington. It's right there. You can see it. I believe it's Town of Wilmington, Vermont.us, and you can read the scope.
Is it the town's position that is, does the town understand the timeline to be?
The town has not had a formal presentation yet, so the formal presentation's on the 2nd. Scott just shared with us that he received the scope this week. So we haven't discussed it.
You might invite, although I know Senator Harrison is not in town, you might also invite them because, you know, again, this is a major, the Windham County senators, as well as the Bennington County senators, because this is a major east-west thoroughfare, so.
Great. I appreciate the feedback, input. That's all I have, Gretchen.
Okay. Dover.
So I know we're moving into budgeting season. Those meetings are starting soon. On the economic development side, we closed out our technical assistance grant applications at the end of September. We approved 7 of those, some for brand new businesses, which is exciting. We've had lots of signage program applications recently too, which is great. Dover Day made a return in October. So we're hoping that's the 2nd year that's been back. We're hoping to keep that happening annually. We are hiring an additional maintenance highway person right now. And we're also looking to create a recreation manager position that would work sort of out of my office and department. So hoping that makes it on the next agenda. What else? Oh, short-term rental registration. That is still trucking along. I've spent a lot of time with our website provider recently and calls trying to fix some initial confusion with how it was set up and some better choices. So I think we're a little bit over halfway registered, which is great. And I think that's it. Oh, we are looking, so as Bytown, we said no to Bandwango. We've kept it here in Dover. I was hoping to do a pass in the fall, and I just didn't have the time somehow. So we're looking to do that in winter, and so hoping for some more data to share with Bytown in that aspect moving forward. But that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Hermitage Club, Josh.
Great, thank you. Nice to see everyone. It's been a busy, obviously, 2 months for me getting on board. So, but we've been busy at the club getting ready for this season. It's nice to see some place in the air. So we've obviously been testing all of our systems, getting those things ready. It's nice to see the post from Mount Snow and Leah seeing your guns going. So look forward to meeting you in person. But we've been busy. We had our ski patrol refresher. It was great to see some of the patrol that couldn't make Mount Snows come over and participate in ours. So that's we're all ready for that. Our team takes it. So I'd be ashamed if I don't mention it. Our team takes great pride. They're the first in the state to have all of our lifts inspected. So they're very prideful of that. So we're Very happy with that. Our December 13th is our first operating day for the year, and coming up on Thanksgiving that weekend on the Saturday, we have the help the Mount Snow Adaptive with the Warren Miller movie that helps raise funds for the adaptive program. So we're happy to participate in that. And the tickets are selling out fast. And then we sent out an email last night to our membership base saying they're selling out. So I don't know where they currently sit, they sell out fast, which is a really nice event, obviously, to support a great cause. So but we've been busy, and look forward to the snow flying.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Hermitage Club? Mount Snow.
Well, good morning. Josh, looking forward to meeting you in person too, and congrats on those inspections. That's awesome. I shared with the Dover Select Board Tuesday night an update that I'll share, a very similar one with all of you. We had a really great fall and summer season at Mount Snow. Our golf club kicked off the season. It opened from May 16th to October 13th. We also had live music over the summer and fall at a number of venues from May 24th to October 11th. We had a Saturday Grand Summit music series and live music at Fairways events. And we had some really fun block parties in our base area on Fridays from June 20th to September 26th. We also had trivia at Fairways on Thursdays. And we had a really great Mount Snow outdoor exploration camp for kids to be able to explore the Green Mountain National Forest. That was from June 16th until August 22nd. I hope many of you were able to come and share July 4th with us. We had a really wonderful weekend opening our bike park that weekend. We had our Independence Day golf tournament on July 4th. And then we had our Independence Day celebration with fireworks and patriotic festivities and family fun on Saturday, July 5th. We held the Eastern States Cup Intense downhill mountain bike race on July 11th to 13th. And we were thrilled to participate in the Southern Vermont Deerfield Valley Blueberry Festival parade on July 26th. That was a lot of fun. We had the Blueberry Car Show at our Howe Farm parcel on August 3rd. And on August 30th, we held the 30th annual Mountain Snow Brewers Festival. We supported the chamber and our local businesses holding the 16th annual Vermont Wine and Harvest Festival at our main base area on September 20th. And we are committed to continuing to supporting our local community businesses for years to come in this way. Next day, we had the Vermont Wildlife Festival in our main base area. That was really fun. I participated in that myself and got to see some really cool animals, including a skunk that doesn't spray anymore. So I got to see a skunk up close, which is really cool. We had the Oktoberfest on October 4th and October 11th. And we've basically been focusing on really keeping the resort vibrant and activated, and also making a lot of improvements going into the 25-26 season. So over the summer, we upgraded infrastructure on the mountain, including the main base lodge. We replaced pipes going into the summit lodge. We improved our parking lot organization, and we are renovating and rebranding Harriman's restaurant, and we're updating our menu choices at Market Fresh and Sundance. And the Bull Wheel will continue to serve Mexican food, as that was very popular. We've also made a real investment in our lift maintenance team that I'm really proud of. We've increased its size by 75% since last season. And the work that the team did over the summer has increased our winter readiness. And it's just going to put us in a much better position to be able to respond quickly on the mountain as needed during the season. I am really excited for my second season here at Mount Snow. My anniversary will be December 19th. So that'll be my 1-year anniversary. And I think it's going to be a really great season for us that we are planning to kick off on November 22nd as our target opening day. Obviously, that's going to depend on some weather conditions. It looks like we have some good opportunities to make snow early next week and really through next week. So we're excited about that. One of the things that I think is really notable about our mountain is we really try to have something for everyone at Mount Snow. And so we have a stacked calendar of events coming into the season, kicking off with our New Year's Eve celebration on December 31st with our torchlight parade and fireworks. We'll have disco tubing and a new base area mid-season block party on January 31st. We'll have Women's Weekend, February 7th to 8th. and Pride Weekend, February 20th to 22nd. And the 17th annual Corinthian Classic presented by Rockstar Energy will be on March 14th. Then we'll have the Jack Jump World Championship on the 15th of March. Reggae Fest with Sink or Skim on Skim, and the Duct Tape Derby will be March 20th to 22nd. Throughout the season, we're also going to have Grommet Jams, Epic Pass Holders First Tracks, snow tubing. We have an incredible après nightlife with Bruce Jakes at Cousins, and a number of live performances at the main base and at the Snow Barn. And of course, we have Nature Spa at the Grand Summit Hotel for people who just want to come and relax and enjoy spa. So I hope that many of you guys will come and enjoy Mountain Snow with us and spend some time on the mountain with us. I also just want to highlight that we are very committed to our community work and how important the community is to us here. We want to make sure that this is a vibrant and thriving winter destination. And I want to just highlight a few of our community giving points, which is valued at over $600,000. So the National Brotherhood of Sports Nubian Empire partners with Mount Snow through Epic for Everyone. And through that, we've been able to introduce about 200 local youth to snow sports. Mount Snow also partners with Unlikely Riders and Adaptive Sports at Mount Snow. And as was the case last season, we'll again work with Unlikely Riders to provide Black, Indigenous, and people of color with learn to ski and ride lessons this season. Since 2020 at Mount Snow, between us and our parent company, VIII Resorts, we've donated to the Deerfield Valley Community Partnership to support Choose Snow, which is a program for full-time Vermont students in grades 7 through 12. And we provide 200 middle and high school students with season passes each year through this program. And Mount Snow is unique in providing those free passes every year. We also donate to the Deerfield Valley Rescue. We really value our collaboration with the town, this committee, and the Chamber of Commerce, Southeast Vermont Transit, and other partners to support the success of our entire community. And I also just want to highlight a few of our key environmental stewardship highlights at Mount Snow. I'm really passionate about what we're able to do on this front. Our environmental management program and our commitment to zero efforts include energy efficiency projects, waste sorting stations, item-specific recycling programs, and composting. And we're very proud to have earned a 2024 Waste and Recycling Badge from the National Ski Areas Association Sustainable Slopes Program. Last winter, we also partnered with Green Mountain Power on a pilot program to track and schedule electrical consumption. And this is an initiative to better serve the New England grid by optimizing how power is allocated across the customer base. Mount Snow also partnered with Efficiency Vermont to upgrade the snowmaking nozzle technology of our current snow gun fleet. And this is intended to lower the air consumption and allow us to stretch snowmaking further using fewer overall production hours. And like I said, it looks like we have some good snowmaking windows coming up. So I'm looking out at the mountain right now and excited to start making it white and get our winter season kicked off. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And again, I hope that I'll see you guys out at Mount Snow. Everyone looks different with their ski gear on, but please make sure that you say hi and come enjoy the mountain with us. Thanks.
Thank you, Leah.
Gretchen, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Leah, do you have any way of sharing your calendar events in like a PDF form or something like that? I assume the chamber would like to have it, and also for our, for the newsletter, it's helpful.
Yes, we do have it posted online, but I'll ask Megan, my assistant, when she gets back next week, if she can please share that. We're going to also do that with the select board.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay, Laura, can you give us an update on the BDCC?
Well, it will not be nearly as fantastic as Adam's, and it will be brief. So through the SEDS process, we have just completed ranking of, I think it was 70 projects across Windham and Bennington County for update in the SEDS. That list will be coming out in the next month or so. And I won't be able to provide too many details, but I think that Adam would, if he hasn't shared this with you, would want you to know. And Gretchen has heard this at our SEVIDS meetings. given what we are seeing happening federally and the changes in policies, there's concern that we're making sure that our businesses and our economy are ready to adapt to changing circumstances, changing financial availabilities, changing regulations, et cetera. And he is working to pull together a business leaders group with the intent of making sure we're understanding impacts and also providing guidance to our major employers in the Wyndham region. And I think I will leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Any questions for Laura? Okay, Christine, the mover.
Good morning, everybody. Laura, good luck this coming up legislative session. You're going to have a challenge, I think. Good morning, everybody. A couple things. If you have not seen the press release, you should all be aware at this time that Randy is going to be retiring on June 30th. And I will be taking over as CEO of the Moover, which is bittersweet and exciting and all sorts of things. So 8 months, long time, but just wanted to make sure it's out there. So the Moover, we are off to a good start for FY26. Our fiscal year starts in July. So when I say FY26, I'm talking about July forward. Even with some route cuts that we had to make, and most of them were just adjustments. Our ridership is pretty much flat compared to last year, which means if those routes were still in place, our ridership would actually be up. So that's really good to see. We have a large amount of people that we're seeing more and more in the Wilmington, Dover area starting to utilize our demand response rides, which is good because it means our marketing or the word is out that it's available. But that also means that our resources are getting tapped out. So demand response rides are up. And that, if for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's like our medical trips, dialysis, shopping. We're seeing an increase, obviously, in the shopping trips because of food insecurity. And we all know that that's part of the concerns going on right now with funding. As far as funding is concerned, and medical trips and Medicaid and all that stuff, right now we are being told status quo, that we're going to be okay. We're not going to see anything major, maybe some adjustments in FY27. The state has done a pretty good job of somewhat preparing themselves for some of this stuff that's coming down the pike, I believe. Laura can speak more to that if I'm wrong, but at least what we're hearing from VTrans is status quo, positive, and planning in place. So we don't feel like we're going to get affected by funding too considerably this current year, and we'll see what 27 brings. So we're kind of in the same boat as everybody in Vermont, that the administration obviously affects funding and how it comes down the pike. So we're doing everything we can to be proactive and make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep all of our services right where they are. So looking forward to winter. That's gearing up. Stratton, believe it or not, we service Stratton, and that starts on the 10th, which is next week. And then Mount Snow, we start our service right around Thanksgiving. And then we also have service No Chemo, which starts not until December. So looking forward to a good winter. Hopefully it's lots of snow and lots of skiers and lots of happy people and lots of riders. But that's about what I have right now. If there's questions.
Great, thank you, Christine. Pam, can you give us an update from the chamber? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I think I know most of you, but for those of you that don't know me yet, my name's Pam Green. I'm about 2 months into being executive director of the Southern Vermont Deerfield Valley Chamber of Commerce. I think Shannon's smiling there because she was carrying a lot of the load of that job for the summer. And so I was hired just before Wine and Harvest Festival. From what I saw, it looked like that was a successful event. And that as actually as a consumer to some of the earlier events like Blueberry Festival, I was impressed when I found out that the board was basically doing all the work. So that was, I think they're happy. We now are fully staffed with a marketing coordinator as well, which is great. She's doing awesome. And we've set the calendar for next year for all our events, starting with Chili Fest and working through Wine and Harvest in September. And continuing to schedule the mixers as we've done in the past. We have on the 17th of November, that's partially funded through the Grow Vermont grant, a mixer at American Flatbread, which is open to anybody. So we've been trying to spread that word wide, especially to newcomers to the area. And then on the 19th, we're co-hosting with BDCC, Biz Connect, and that's going to be held at OSEC that has some low-cost practical takeaways for implementing simple systems to track better metrics. And not having been to a lot of these types of meetings, I was at a meeting the other day where I learned a whole lot about what BDCC does. So looking forward, now that I know more about that, to sharing that with some of the members, that it might be appropriate that there's a lot of resources out there for them. Any questions for me?
Okay, any questions for anyone for Pam? And welcome. For some reason, Pam, I thought we did introductions 2 months ago, but I realized that you were not here then.
No, I wasn't.
So
But that's
sorry,
okay.
my apologies.
That's okay. There's a lot of these meetings, and I know most of the people that I can see right now.
Well,
I'm meeting Josh in person next week. So.
Great. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up? I know that we're a little bit over. Thank you all for hanging in there.
Gretchen?
Yes.
If it's possible, I would love to get you and Charlie and Pam for just a moment at the end of the meeting.
Okay. Shannon, are you okay with that? Can you
I was going to say you're also going to get me by default just because I'm hosting it,
That's
but that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay.
Hey, Gretchen, I had a
Okay.
quick question for Leah. I just thought about.
Go ahead.
Leah, how are the J1s this year? Do you have the same numbers you've had in the past years, or is there going to be an impact on the slope side?
I haven't seen any issues so far. I'm meeting with my senior leadership team today, and I'll check with them and let you know if there's any issues. But so far, it's not been an issue at all, as far as I know.
Charlie, I could back on that. Same thing with us. We've been good. H2B J1s, everything is pulling smoothly. Knock on wood.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I apologize, but I do have to jump off. It was great
I was
to
gonna
see
say,
all
I
of you.
do too. Have a good day,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Can someone who's left make a quick motion to adjourn?
adjourn.
Oh, yeah. I guess we adjourned.
Second.
Thanks, Heidi.